Can you lose weight and still be unhealthy? Today, we are going to be talking about weight loss. So we're on a Sunday walk. It's a beautiful, rainy spring day in Spokane, Washington. And we are just excited to get into it. So, question number 1. What does a naturopathic approach to weight loss actually look like?
Well, the key response would be to not focus on weight loss and see if things can magically improve when other components to health are addressed.
Okay, so when you say magically improve, you mean improve other areas in your life?
Well, the body's designed to heal itself, and your body has a natural set point for weight. So it's constantly trying to get there and achieve that. So more looking at obstacles that could be in the way of that. And like we've talked about before, the determinants of health, what's involved in your health, homeostasis rate.
All right, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor and like, subscribe, and share. Now let's get back to the discussion.
Regulation that maybe you haven't looked into.
That definitely makes sense. Why do you think so many people struggle to lose weight, even when they feel like they're doing everything right? You know, with their routine, their nutrition, their exercise.
It's a little harder to be healthy these days than it was in the past, I think, and the level of busyness and stress in the world is higher, and those are big obstacles to overcome when trying to lose weight. So yeah, a lot of it comes down to what are the stressors in your body and in your life, and how do you remove those?
Yeah, that makes sense. After learning a lot, I feel like being more aware of that stuff is harder than you think. Oh gosh, beans. Do you think weight loss medications like GLP-1s are helping people or creating new problems?
Well, it's never just a blanket statement. There's always someone who's benefited, someone who's been harmed, and someone who it's done nothing for. So you just have to look at the majority and what sort of risk people are willing to take to achieve their goals and decide.
If someone is taking a GLP-1, what are the biggest things they should be paying attention to nutritionally, in your opinion?
Just trying to eat enough. So far, I see individuals taking those don't eat enough.
Wow. So when you say eat enough, is it focusing on protein, fat, carbohydrate? I know most people that are on a weight loss plan, at least that I talk to, definitely are like very low carb. Even if they're a GLP-1 like consumer, they still lean more on a keto, like ketosis diet, or, you know, low carb, high protein. So what do you think the balance should be?
Well, I don't care quite as much about the balance. I just want people eating healthy food, non-processed food, and eating enough of it to support their body's daily function. Carbs are protein sparing. So if you eat more carbs and healthy sugars, you don't need as much protein. If you eat more protein, then you may be able to eat reduced calories from other sources. So you just have to find a balance.
I feel like you've mentioned something like this in a previous video, that we have a view of sugar and carbohydrates that is completely, I don't know if it's wrong, but just misled a little bit. Would you say that?
Yeah, things are slowly coming around, I think, too, and that maybe healthy sugars and fruits and carbs, which can be broken down into sugars, aren't inherently evil. And maybe that's not the driver of diabetes and weight gain and chronic illness that had been proposed. So it seems a little more complicated than that and related more to some of the bad fats and oils that get built up in our body and processed foods in general. And it turns out for some, increasing healthy sources of carbohydrates can stimulate the metabolism for different health purposes and healthy weight management.
What happens to muscle mass during weight loss, and why does it matter so much?
Muscle mass seems to be a good marker indicator in the body for overall health status and bone density and metabolic health and healthy aging. So keeping track of it is important, and weight loss tends to cause a reduction in muscle mass, but it's all dependent on how much muscle loss and how much can you gain that back, and maintaining as much of it as you can.
What are the biggest mistakes people make when trying to lose weight naturally?
Probably doing too extreme of things, so negating some areas of lifestyle and quality of life for more extreme things, maybe not eating enough even, and extreme exercise and things that may backfire on the metabolism in the long run.
So like yo-yo dieting, or just kind of doing like the really extreme diets for too long.
Yeah, you might get nutrient depleted or deficient if you're doing too extreme of a diet, and then you can't keep doing things that aren't working either. So often people overlook some of the basics of health that might work better than something that's extreme.
Are calories the whole story, or are hormones, stress, sleep, and inflammation just as important?
Yeah, those other factors are probably even more important than calories. Calories maybe plays a small role. It's one metric to measure, but it definitely doesn't explain the whole story. And looking into those other factors probably will lead you closer to where you want to go than just measuring calories.
What are some signs someone's metabolism or body is not functioning optimally?
Well, feeling unmotivated, feeling lethargic, brain fog, fatigue, feeling cold, feeling inflamed, pain in the body. These are all signs that your metabolism is not up to speed. Measuring your hormones and thyroid and your body temperature could help illuminate some of that.
I remember you used to tell me to take my temperature at certain times of the day, and I have never done that. I forgot about it. But that's more to figure out like when my thyroid might be not functioning.
Yeah, taking your temperatures before the doctors had blood markers for your thyroid or metabolism. They had you track your temperature and your reflexes and other ways. So it helps guide your metabolism and your thyroid level. And different foods have an impact on your temperature and different environments. So it can be used. It's a helpful tool to track.
Can someone lose weight and still be unhealthy?
Yeah, weight loss tends to improve some markers of health, potentially, like insulin resistance, but not necessarily everything. And you could become iron deficient, nutrient deficient, losing weight. You could definitely be lose weight and be in a more stressed out state, in a less healthy place than you were before.
What are your thoughts on rapid weight loss versus slower, sustainable weight loss?
Slow and steady tends to win the race in most things, and definitely weight loss is one of those. Your body has to process and get rid of all those extra fats and lipids and chemicals and toxins that were stored in fat cells, hormones. So if you lose weight too fast, your body may not be able to process all those as well.
All right, what are the most underrated habits for healthy weight loss?
You could try to increase healthy sources of fiber as a way to decrease gut inflammation. A lot of gut inflammation leads to weight gain, and weight gain around the midsection, and binder or bamboo. Raw carrots are a great way to increase fiber in the gut and eliminate that.
I will have to make a video for you about this raw carrot salad that Patrick introduced me to a couple years ago, and we eat it multiple times a week, and it's delicious on so many things. What lab markers or health data do you think people should know before starting a weight loss journey?
Yeah, I would measure everything you can before you start, just to see your progress. The in-body scan with your body composition, your blood work, blood sugar, hormones, all that would be good to check before.
We just did a video on this last week. If you missed it, you should check it out. It shows the entire in-body scan. Patrick has one at his clinic, the Wellness Tree in Spokane, Washington. And it has a lot of information for you. It obviously gives you your weight, but your BMI and your skeletal muscle, all the things. Such a good place marker to see where you're at, where you should improve. It tells you about just exactly how much weight really that you should lose and how much muscle you should gain and where you should gain it, which is pretty dang cool. How important is protein really when someone is trying to lose weight? And the sources of protein.
Protein is fairly important to have adequate levels of if you're trying to lose weight, but you definitely don't need too much or excess of it as well. And everyone digests and tolerates different types of protein differently, so you have to know your body and maybe your blood type, know how you digest different proteins to get the most out of them. And it's just one of the factors to know, but it is important.
Okay, what's your opinion on dieting culture and the constant quick fix mentality online?
It just tends to not work over time. It's kind of like the yo-yo dieting. If you're going to gain the weight back, that was not a good, a healthy option, and not a good lifestyle or long-term option. So you're unlikely to improve your long-standing health unless you can maintain the changes you've made.
I would say that's pretty true. If you try to do anything in extreme, it doesn't really work that great. If someone wanted to start improving their health today, where would you actually tell them to begin if they wanted to go a more natural route?
I would probably tell them to measure a few things if they have not. Measure some markers in the blood work, or urine, or measure your hormones. Do an in-body scan. and then start to change a few things at a time, not too much, but change the way you eat a little bit and go from there.
Okay, so now I have a couple questions that are for my other postpartum mamas out there that are lost when it comes to losing weight or bouncing back, as everyone calls it, right after or even a couple years after having a baby. I myself have been on that journey and it has not been easy. So, what actually happens metabolically during postpartum recovery?
Well, just about everything changes from pregnancy to postpartum. So, you know, everything could have shifted to different baselines. So you just kind of have to get familiar with your new baseline and are your hormones at different levels now? Is your thyroid at a different level? Are you factoring in the stress levels you're under and the amount of sleep you're getting and the quality of that sleep? So you kind of have to get used to the new you and make some changes where you can.
Isn't that the truth? Everything changes. Why do so many postpartum women struggle with energy, cravings, or stubborn weight?
Well, they're giving a lot of nutrition to their babies, so they may be lacking nutritionally in a mineral or a vitamin or a macronutrient. That could be a reason for cravings. Cravings usually tell you something about the body. And their energy, again, they're probably underestimating how much sleep they're getting and where their hormones are at and thyroid. Everything changes potentially after pregnancy.
Yeah, it does. All right, the last question I have about that would be if anyone were to come into your office on a weight loss journey, newly postpartum, wanting to really focus on weight loss in the healthiest way possible, naturally, what advice would you give them?
I would probably just have them realistically, look at their goals and see how far they need to come and see what's changed for them and what's not working that has worked in the past, and remeasure some levels in the blood of markers and hormones, and just have them really put some energy into how they're feeling day to day and how's their sleep, and maybe they just need some stress relievers back into their daily routine that they had forgotten after having a baby, and that may help them lose weight even.
All right, well, that sums up our first discussion on weight loss. Thank you for joining us on this nature walk, and I hope we covered a few topics that can help you on your journey. Feel free to subscribe, like, share the video. We would love to keep making these for you. So thank you for spending your Sunday with us in beautiful Spokane, and have a good week.